Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Yakai. With Open Great League recently came back to the GBL cycle, I managed to hit the expert rank using G Corsola, Fortress, and Murkrow. The moveset of the three mons are shown on the graphics. So without further ado, let's see some battles of my climb to see how this team works. Hopping into the first match, we have Corsola facing off Euphis. This is a good lead for our team because our Murkrow doesn't want to see any of this pancake in the back. So we are happy to just staying in here. Opponents throwing two mob bombs to chip down our Corsola XP, and then they make a really nice play. They manage to catch a nice shade on their forward to waste off our energy. With that said, we have a really nice answer to the forward assets, which is our fortress here. We resist all their charge move, the swift and trailblaze here, and then our bug by continuously to chipping down this third HP. I undercharge this rock tomb a bit to try to get more farm. We can tank this with just fine. And then opponent doesn't want to get farm there and then come back in with their UVs. And then farm up just before we get to the sand tomb here and fire off their next mob bomb. And with that said, we can come back in our closer to try to continuously get rid of this Stunfisk as soon as we can. And I think after this move, we can fully astonish them down. Yeah, we can. And then we just come in with our Murkrow and hope for the best. Opponents here come back in with their third and then instant swap to their Trem Breath Charizard. Now, this is generally a really awkward matchup because Charizard only needs 4.5 seconds to get to a single air cutter. So it will continuously outpace our Murkrow to move. But since they give us a one pack advantage on their threat earlier, we are not that behind on energy as we used to. So we can just farm up one shot to the pack, one shot to the drill pack here and come in with our Corsola to force them to switch back into third and then get to our drill pack and winning CMP here against opponent's Charizard and take this game. GG's. Hopping into the next match, is our Corsa facing up opponent's Scudra. This is a really neutral matchup, but slightly comfortable for Galarian Corsola because of how bulky we are and how much this Astonish and Nightshade a hitting to the Gudra. With that said, Gudra actually able to make this kind of coast in a zero shield. I don't want to eat another move from the Gudra here, so I just basically throw my second Nightshade immediately to knock out this. And then opponent after that come in with their Shadow Caesar to get farm. This is so awkward here, but I guess we can come in with our fortress. We can tank two non-boosted Night Slash just fine. Let's see, after hitting first one, luckily they didn't get a boost here. With that said, the second one is coming through really fast. And then they swap to the last one, which is Primate. So now our job is really simple. Just throw a Sanctum to decrease the defense of this Primate here. And then shoot twice on our Murkrow, fully packing this down. And then we can easily get to the two true packs against the Shadow Caesar in the back. One will get the last shield and one will get a knockout. Opponent knows the writing on the wall here and just let this drill pack go. GG's to my opponents. And then let's see our next match. Next one is Galar and Corsola facing off against Dusknoir, Shadow Dusknoir, the ghost type mirror match. With that said, with how bulky Corsola is, we should be able to powerhouse through this in the two shield. I thought I can farm down here, but unfortunately they survive on 1 HP, so I will catch the second Shadow Punch onto our fortress and save a bunch of energy on our Corsola. Opponent coming with Shadow Helix here after throwing the Shadow Punch. We can chip it down with multiple Buck Bites and Sand Tomb here. and then wow, and then get knocked out by an earthquake, I guess, and then come back in with Kosa because we don't want to see this with our Murkrow in the back, right? Opponent will make some really nice catch here on their Ricky, and this is just instantly over because our Murkrow just unfortunately don't have any play in the back with the Shadow Slicks and Wiggly backline. GG's. So let's hop into the next match. Sorry. Okay, so next match is our Kozilek facing off opponent's Steelix. Opponents instantly safe swap into the Shadow Malamar, but Shadow Malamar is not a safe swap against our team, as we have Fortress. We only need a few seconds to knock out this Malamar from the field after shielding one superpower. And they come back in with their Steelix. With that said, we can continue shipping this thing down with our Centum and Bug Bites. And after that, I'll swap into my Murkrow. Now, you may think that this is a strange play, because why would you give us a switch after getting it here, right? Because, well, let me explain to you. This is because of that I thinking them may have a Wiggly in the back, which it'll be instantly game over if I let my fortress go. So I come in Murkrow here just to save my fortress in the back for the potential Wiggly. Because with how good Corsola is in the neutral matchup, I believe that Corsola should be able to take the win in the back if it is not something like the dark type and the fairy type. And if it is the dark type and fairy type, we still have our fortress with decent amount of energy in the back. Yeah, so that's the reason. So let's continue to see how this match go. We eat a crunchier and farm up to until the last moment and throw the foul play to knock out this Murkrow. And it is in fact the Wiggles in the back. Luckily we have our fortress with a bunch of energy saved. Although we are low here, but we are still not in farm damage. We can get to a Rock Tomb to permanently debuff their attack, and then after that, still get to another Sand Tomb and to permanently debuff their defense. Fortress absolutely putting in a tons of work this game. And just throw our Power Gem before the next Icy Win. This will grab the last shield, and I think I'll use my last shield also on this Icy Win here because why not? This is their last mon, and after that we can just come in with our fortress to reset our debuff. And although Wiggles can debuff we again with this Ice Wind here, but with how low they are, Power Gem despite I one stage debuff should be enough to take out the Wiggles here, and that's a good game. GG's to my opponents, and let's hop into the next match. Next match is Corsola against opponent's Tinkertongue. Again, this is really good to see this in the layer because our Murkrow won't have to fade this in the back. And I think the Astonishes and 2 Nightshades should be enough to knock out this Tinkerton. So I think we can get a switch advantage here. Opponent catch with that sack catch the next Nightshade onto the Kanto Malrack. But after getting Nightshade chip damage, we can come in with our Murkrow, throw 6 packs and CMP with the potential Rock Slide. Opponents let their Malrack go and come back in with Tinkerton here. We'll shield up the potential play rough here and throw one before or they get to the next player because they did base, so they did save some energy. Opponent here seems really afraid to our Murkrow in the back. So we'll shield up this again and then farm up some energy and use Koza to snipe with one Astonish. And then, in fact, it's their own Koza in the back. We get to our Nightshade here with our Koza just on basically 1 HP. And after getting this Nightshade off, this can become really easy. Because they will either have to let their Koza KO by a Centum, or get KO by our foul play that saved by our Murkrow in the back. They decide to let it go because they know this is over. GG's to my opponents. And let's go into the next match. It is our Corsola against in the mirror, I guess. So because our fortress not don't quite want to see this in back, although our Murkrow really wish to see it. But this is still a fine neutral matchup. We'll just play out the 0-0 and then let our Corsola go here. And then after that, we'll get a farm with our Murkrow after shooting this potential power gem. With that said, I think I'll use 2 shield here because I feel like Murkrow's energy will be valuable in the back than this shield. But in fact, it's not that valuable in the back. Murkrow energy is generally pretty good, but not against this Warface, aka Bastodon, aka Nightmare of all flyers, I guess. Opponent's throw the flamethrower nearly knocks out our fortress and then come in with Corviknight. And this game is just over. Our Murkrow can't do anything against the Warface in the back. And that's GG's. Unfortunate, Murkrow don't quite have any play against the double steel backline. In the next game against Tomahawk UK, a really good EU battlers. Facing on Greninja and Lily, we have to get out of that as soon as possible. We come in with our fortress and opponents throw a Hydro and then come in with Shadow Giratina here. We throw a Rock Tomb to chip down their attack to force them to throw a move to knock out our fortress. And then after that, we'll come in with our Corsola to get farm here and tank the move. And hopefully our Murkrow with the energy lead on getting this farm down will be looking good in the back. Now, they having Fortress in the back on paper, you may think that this is a really bad matchup, right? But with how offensive Murkrow is, this is actually not that bad of a matchup up with 2 shield up. Because you see this pack is continuously chipping off this Fortress XP, and then after this drill pack, they are already at red. Now, them throwing in Trailblazer really it makes me think that they are going to stay in here. And that will be really bad for us because our Murkrow is so low on HP right now. I thought that if they just stay in here, they will for sure get a variant down before we get a pack down. But somehow they Trailblaze and then they decide to swap out here. This gives us a really simple win con, which is just throwing the drill pack to get the last shield here. And then after eating this night rest, we can get to the power gem here. Looks like they just boost here, but this doesn't matter. Power gem will be enough to knock out this Greninja. And all that's left is a low HP fortress. We will get a Astonish down with our Galarian Corsola, and that's a good game. GG's to my opponents. And hopping into the next game, which is also, I think, the last game of the day, against my Taiwan Anis good friend Yodara, a 3-0. Pangoro in the lead, and we swap into our fortress. Unfortunately, we get walled by this Talonflame in the back. With that said, we can still get a shield with the double super effective Rock Tomb here. And then try to eat the energy on this Talonflame with our Corsola. And then hopefully with a shield advantage, we can sweep with our Murkrow in the back. With that said, they don't want to give us any more farm on the Corsola. Come back in with the Pangoro. Throw the Night Slash here, and they get a boost here. This Karate Chop is starting to hitting in us more and more. And with that said, they get another boost with the Night Slash. And we are already deep into the yellow after farming that panda down. And unfortunately, although we have so much energy on our Murkrow here, we don't quite have enough how to launch out those energy. And then Talon will get a farm down here. And then all that's left is our Corsola. Although we can knock out this Talon with a Nightshade here, but we just don't quite have enough health to knock out the Fortress in the back. GG's. Yeah, I think that's all the battles of the day. I think I do think Murkrow is so strong and so fun to play right now. With how offensive it is, it generally being a really good sweeper in this current meta because the flying and dark coverage is so nice to counter the general common core of recent meta like Gastrodon has Galarian Corsola. And with how attack weighted a Murkrow is, you can generally powerhousing through opponent's two mons with a shield or energy advantage, setting up with your two bulky Emons, which is Corsola and Fortress. So if you are interested in trying the team, feel free to try it up and tell me about the result out back in the comments. With all that said, that's all for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. See you.